DG Lyle, PDGs, fellow Rotarians. Marshall, welcome to District 7030. We wish you were here physically, but we'll manage with you at a distance for the time being. Rotarians, fellow Rotarians, it is indeed a pleasure to have Marshall, our Zone 34 Public Image Coordinator, with us this afternoon to speak about the thing that makes us who we are, our brand. It's so important. I notice that many don't wear their branding very visible. I wear mine all the time. It's important. It's the key to who we are. It shows our professionalism in our print media, in everything that we do. So this is the session that tells us what we need to do about making sure we get the branding right. We have the expert. There's nobody better than Marshall to tell us about it. He is the zone coordinator for this, and we are extremely happy that he has agreed to join us this afternoon. This is our final session. So I know you can breathe a sigh of relief. It has been 14 sessions, but 14 awesome, awesome sessions with information that we leave with every time, trying to figure out how come we didn't know that before. So another time for us to sit back, get the information, ask the questions. These are the people that can answer the questions that you have. So I look forward to the presentation, and I'm just going to hand you back to the training team. Thanks so much, and welcome to all of you.
Thank you, District Governor-elect Sonia. Marshall Butler was the 2016-2017 District Governor for Rotary District 6970. He began his Rotary experience as president of the Robert E. Lee High School Interact Club, and he became part of the Rotary family for the second time on May the 29th, 2002, when he joined the Rotary Club of West Jacksonville. During Marshall's term as governor, Rotary District 6970 hosted its first $1 million dinner, had the highest membership net gain in North America, and orchestrated the successful 100 Acts of Good public image campaign. Marshall participated in the 107-mile ride to end polio in Tucson, Arizona, which led to Rotary District 6970 making the largest district designated fund contribution to end the polio campaign in the world that year. Rotary District 6970 capped the year with over 500 Rotarians traveling from Florida to Atlanta to attend the district conference, dubbed the All-Star Conference, featuring RI President John Germ, RI Vice President Jennifer Jones, Rotary General Secretary John Hugo, the first female president of a Rotary Club, Sylvia Whitlock, plus many others. The All-Star Conference was immediately followed by a week of fellowship at the Rotary International Convention. PDG Marshall began his term as Rotary Public Image Coordinator for Zone 34 on July 1st, 2020. PDG Marshall, welcome this afternoon, and it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Well, thank you all, and thank you for that warm introduction. Thank you, DGE, Sonia, for those kind words. And it really is a pleasure to be with you all in Rotary District 7030 today. First of all, I want to extend our deepest condolences from the Rotary Public Image team in Zone 34 for the recent losses of past District Governor Henri and Hervé this past couple of weeks, and understand that you guys are in our thoughts and prayers, and I want to extend our condolences to you all. That introduction, Sonia, that you gave regarding wearing the lapel pin and how important it is, I have if you don't mind and indulge me, I have a great story to tell just how important it is, and an example of demonstrating the people of action through what we wear. You know, I guess it was 2014, and I was district governor nominee. I'd just been named the nominee for District 6970, and John Germ had just been named the president nominee of Rotary International. And John was coming to Jacksonville, Florida to meet with Shad Khan, Shad is the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's from Pakistan. And we know Pakistan is one of the last 2 countries on earth that still has polio. And so President nominee John wanted to talk to Shad about maybe contributing to the End Polio Now campaign. And so because John was coming to Jacksonville, the folks in Evanston thought, well, we'll introduce John to the district governor for that area the year he's president and let him meet Marshall. And so they coordinated so that after the football game, I was going to have dinner with President nominee John Germ. And as you may or may not know, every president of Rotary for their year as president will select a sport coat for their class of governors to wear. So I'm getting dressed, prepared to go to dinner with President nominee John with my wife, and I'm getting dressed and I'm putting on my Madras pants. It's my tradition. I like to wear the fancy pants. And so I was putting on the plaid pants to have dinner. And my wife said, you know, that probably isn't the best idea. You shouldn't wear plaid pants to go meet with the future president of Rotary International. You know, that you probably need to wear something different. And I said, don't worry about it. What could possibly go wrong? I'm just going to wear my plaid pants and go have dinner with John Germ. So I walk up to the restaurant and open the door, and there's John Germ, bigger than life. And if you know John, you know that he's a guy, he's from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's a Southern gentleman, and he has a dry sense of humor. And so he looked at me head to toe, and he said, so you're going to be the district governor the year I'm president? I said, yes, sir, President John, I will. He said, well, boy, them britches ain't going to match my jacket. And I said, okay, President nominee John, I understand. Maybe we'll find a different pair of pants for the year that you're president, and we'll wear those pants that will match your jacket. And so there's a Rotarian here in District 6970, and he owns an embroidery shop. And so we worked together, and he produced a pair of pants, khaki pants, tan pants, that had the Rotary logo all over the pants. And so we're at the International Convention in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and we're at a reception for district governor nominees, I guess, with John. And John sees my pants, and he wants me to walk up on stage so all the folks can see these Rotary pants. And he loves them. And so I go up on stage, and he's impressed with my breeches. And so he said, Marshall, I want you to go into a worldwide production of those pants. I love those pants. I said, okay, President John, we'll see what we can do. We'll see if we can make these pants. And so a few months later, we're in San Diego at the International Assembly, and it's where all the district governors go for training before they serve as governor, their governor year. And I'm at a polio reception, and John Germ walks up to me, and he said, Marshall, where are my britches at? I said, well, President nominee John, you got to understand, we submitted the pants to the Rotary International licensing committee, and they weren't impressed with the logo all over the pants. And they said that the wheel wasn't quite close enough to the word Rotary. They said it was a micrometer off, and they couldn't approve it. And he said, dadgummit, they're missing the forest for the trees. And so he calls over one of his assistants, one of his aides, and says, I want you to call those guys in Evanston and explain this and straighten them out. And so his assistant was Ron Bobian, past district governor, lives there in Southern California. So he did. And a few months later, or actually a few weeks later, I get a call from my friend, and he said, Marshall, we got approval. We can make the pants. And so we produced the world famous Rotary All-Star pants that have the Rotary logo all over them. And you know, President John was right. They were missing the forest for the trees, because we see that Rotary logo on the side of a building, or on a sign, or on a plaque in a park, or on a sign on the side of the roadway. People see that Rotary logo, that wheel, and they know Rotary is a great organization, but they aren't quite sure, and they don't quite understand what Rotary is all about. And see, it's up for us as Rotarians to wear our wheel, wear the pin, wear a pair of pants, wear whatever it takes, because it's up to us to tell these stories, to tell the Rotary story of eradicating polio, of clean water, of literacy, of feeding the hungry. it's up to us to share these stories. And I know every one of you have a story of that moment that you went from a member of a Rotary club to a Rotarian. And it's up to us to tell these stories and to share Rotary with people that they're Rotarians, they just don't know it yet. And we need to tell them that story so that they can join. And so that's a quick little Rotary story about wearing the wheel and the importance of wearing the wheel, but the importance of telling the story too, and letting folks know what Rotary is all about. I'm going to jump right in. And, I was at a conference in Boston a couple of years ago, and this fellow by the name of Scott Harrison was speaking. And he is the co-founder of a global organization called Thirst. And they are working to build wells all over the world to provide clean water to folks. And in his talk, he provided this quote that was really impactful to me, but it also, I could see its relevance to us as Rotarians. And that quote is, "As I looked at charities, I saw bad websites, I saw anemic brands. People are peddling toothpaste with more sophistication than all the world's life-saving causes. And where was the Nike, the Apple, the Virgin? Where were those imaginative, inspiring charities?" Scott is right on with this, because, when we talk about Rotary and we talk about what Rotary is all about, it's more than just that wheel. That the brand is so much more than that wheel. The brand is the experience that you have when you go to a club meeting, or when you go to a fundraiser, or when you go to a social event. The Rotary experience is what our brand is. And we need to make sure that as we tell the Rotary story, as we put on events, as we host fundraisers and service projects, that we do everything at the highest level possible and use innovation and ideas and make sure that we continue to reinvent things. I know that Paul Harris once said, the story of Rotary is one that's going to have to continue to evolve and reinvent itself over and over and over again. And we know over the last 116 years, that is certainly true. So it's true as we look at our clubs from an operational perspective, as we attract members. And it's also true as we market and promote our clubs, that we continue to be innovative and think of new ways to tell that story. As we think about who is responsible for public image in a Rotary club, as I mentioned, I know every one of you has a Rotary story of that moment that you became a Rotarian. Now, in this photo, this is my club here in Jacksonville, the Rotary Club of West Jacksonville. That fellow, Andrew is our public image chair. He's the guy. He's the one that has the title public image chair. But he's not the only one responsible for public image in our club. Everyone in that club has a phone in their pocket that has a high quality camera that can take photos of a club meeting or a club event. Everyone in that club has friends that they can tag or invite to attend a meeting or can share content with. So every person in a Rotary club is responsible for the public image of that club, of their district, and of Rotary International. Someone once asked past Rotary International President Barry Rassin, why doesn't Rotary have a global advertising campaign and fund it from Evanston? And past Rotary International President Barry said, it's simple, because everything happens at the club level and everything should be tailored to the communities that the Rotary Club serve. So every community has a unique niche that they fill in their community. If they weren't there, their community would be missing out. And so it is up to each individual club to tell that story and share with that community the value that they bring to the community that they reside in. And so some of the things that we want to talk about today are things that really, it doesn't have to be hard to lead public image for your club. And a lot of this is dependent on the size of your club. Of course, a smaller club may have a smaller committee. A larger club might have more people. Many hands make light work. But really, you can put together a team and diversify the responsibilities so that you're sharing the workload and it doesn't fall on the shoulders of one individual person. So you want to build a team. So someone might be responsible for reaching out to the local newspaper. Some person might be responsible for sending out the weekly newsletter. It's so important to communicate to our club members what we're doing as Rotary clubs, what events we have coming up, maybe what we've done recently. We know that one of the key indicators of a person staying in a Rotary club is the pride that they have in their club. And so if we continue to tell the club members what their club is accomplishing in their communities, we know that that's a key indicator to ensure that those Rotarians are going to stay, because they are proud to be a part of that club. And so it's so important. When we think about public image, we think about external folks outside of our clubs, but we got to think about folks inside of our clubs too. Photography and video, like I said, we all carry around phones that have cameras. I know I have separation anxiety if I'm without my phone for about 3 minutes. And so we always carry these phones around with us, and we always have the opportunity to document and memorialize what we're doing as Rotarians. Social media is very important, and we could get very deep into social media. There's just so much to know about the various channels, depending on who your target audience is. Is it older Rotarians? Is it younger potential Rotarians? If someone tells you that they're an expert in social media, you need to remind them of the 4-way test, because they're not telling the truth. There is so much to learn. And I know I learn every day from my teenage daughters about social media. The website, someone might be responsible for the website. Technology is such a big part of Rotary. In the last 12 months, we have learned how dependent we are on technology to keep us connected and to ensure that we can continue being a part of Rotary and keep people connected to our clubs, whether it's through streaming, through Zoom and other platforms, maybe some of the events that in the past we would have done in person. Now we're having to do it virtually. And again, be mindful as you put on these virtual events and use technology to be creative and to make sure that folks don't think, oh my goodness, it's another Zoom meeting. But your intro today was really nice. I really enjoyed that talk, that TED talk, and those videos. So that's it. Just provide value in everything that you do using technology. But again, everyone is responsible for sharing and spreading their circle of influence. Every one of us has a circle of influence, people, friends, family that we interact with and come into contact with every day. And as we share content that our clubs promote, we can expand the reach of our clubs through those circles of influence. One of the other important things that we've learned is it's important to conduct an audit. We know that some clubs and some individuals have, maybe started up Facebook pages or Instagram pages or Twitter pages. You need to go back in and look and make sure that all of those websites, those social media channels are being updated, maintained, that they are using the correct logo. We've seen some instances of, the old master brand pre-2015. So you need to go back and make sure that everything that is promoting your Rotary Club is consistent and it's being updated. It's also important to know who has access to all these as well. We know that we may have Rotarians come and go, and you never want to be single-threaded where only one person has access to your Instagram account or your Twitter account or your Facebook's really good because you can have multiple administrators for a Facebook page. But for things like Instagram and Twitter, sometimes it can be a little bit dangerous to have only one person with the username and email address. And we have told folks it's a best practice perhaps to share that information with the secretary of your club so that it's, maybe using a club email address so the password can be reset if someone moves on and doesn't provide the password when they leave the club. But then, as I mentioned, the other important thing is to make sure that the Rotary brand standards are being followed as you use all those social media channels and using the appropriate logo usage. I mentioned someone might start up a channel and then walk away from it. Those are what we call zombie accounts. Someone might have thought that it would be a great idea to create maybe a MySpace account for your club and then walk away, or and just, again, it's all about the brand and the experience. And if folks see a website or a social media channel that hasn't been updated in about 3 or 4 years, that really isn't putting the best foot forward for us, for Rotary. That doesn't really position us in a good light. It doesn't make us seem vibrant and, constantly doing things. They might think that your club is stagnant or doesn't exist anymore. So you might want to go do a check and make sure that all your social media channels are in good working order and you have access to them. One of the other things that is really important is to create an editorial calendar. And this is one of the things that as the public image team in Zone 34, we challenge clubs at the beginning of the year to create their editorial calendar. We all know that October has World Polio Day. We know that in November, it's the Foundation Month. We know that we might have a certain fundraiser or social in a certain month. We know that Rotary has themes in every single month. And so map out the entire 12 months of the Rotary year and have content ready to go so that when it comes time for that event, you've already got a lot of your work done. It really does help to plan out your work, plan your work and then work your plan so that you're never scrambling at the last minute to get things done. And I got to tell you, this is, I'm talking to myself too. If there's one finger pointing outward, there's three pointing right back at you. I know that this is something that sometimes I forget to plan my work and I'm left scrambling. And so it's a lesson for all of us to go ahead and put that editorial calendar together, because again, it makes it easy for us to ensure that we're constantly publishing content on our channels and keeping people informed of what our clubs are doing. And if you come to a point where maybe one month you just don't have a lot going on, maybe there's not a whole lot of things to talk about from your club perspective, go look at the Rotary International Facebook page or their Twitter account, or they're doing a lot with Snapchat now and Instagram. Go to their blog. There's a Vimeo channel. I think I've mentioned all these different channels later in this deck, but Rotary provides a lot of content that we can use, and we can publish that and share that with our friends. And it's work done for you. So yeah, here's some of those resources I was talking about. The Brand Center has logos and templates. We can repurpose content from all those different Rotary channels. There's the People of Action graphic generator. The People of Action campaign is the second largest campaign ever undertaken by Rotary after the This Close campaign. It's very important that we demonstrate to our communities that Rotarians are people of action. We join leaders, we exchange ideas, and we take action. And so anything that we can do to demonstrate showing us working in our communities, making a difference, is very important. I mentioned the logo creator. It's very easy to create a logo that is appropriate and it meets the requirements. And I know Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator William will be talking about logos a little bit later on, but that's something that you'll find on the Brand Center as well. Newsletter templates. And there's also a lot of stock, copyright-free stock photography. Some really nice imagery that we can use to demonstrate the work that Rotary does around the world. And so I would encourage you to go to Rotary.org and look at some of the resources that they have available on the Brand Center. The Zone 34 Public Image team also has some resources that we've put together. We have a blog. Actually, I need to update that. We have a couple of things that we've done recently that we need to add to that blog. RotaryShares.org/video. We've got a lot of the Rotary videos that you'll see on, Rotary International Convention and stuff like that. We've put those all on a channel, as well as a lot of our past webinars. The public image team here in Zone 34 does a monthly webinar series, and I recognize a lot of the names and faces in this session today. You guys are big supporters of ours. And so we have all those webinars that we've done in the past recorded, and those are up on that channel. So you can learn how to use Canva, and you can learn some more about maybe brand identity. We did one on streaming techniques, advanced streaming techniques and stuff like that. We actually do have that one link, RotaryShares.org/streaming, and that has a guide to help you with a hybrid club format. If maybe your club is taking that step forward back to in-person club meetings. And so that has some tips and tricks on how to conduct a hybrid meeting. So I would encourage you to take a look at that. One of the other things, and I know many of you have probably heard me say this before, is you can learn from others, and we call it Rotary R&D, and it's really not Rotary Research and Development. It's really Rotary rip off and duplicate. We encourage folks to look at what other Rotary clubs, other Rotary districts, other Rotary organizations are doing, and copy it. You know, give them credit if you're going to directly copy it, but maybe emulate it, maybe do something very similar. There's no sense in all of us reinventing the wheel every time. And I've seen really great stuff out of Rotary District 7030. You can, on Instagram now, you can follow hashtags, which makes it easy. Of course, I follow a lot of the Rotary clubs in District 7030, but and I see a lot of the content come through my Instagram feed, but you can also follow hashtag Rotary. A lot of you are using the hashtag Rotary shares, hashtag people of action, and you have a chance to see a lot of the great things that people around the world, Rotarians around the world, how they're using social media. I learn a lot from the Rotaractors. I know, you know, you all have a strong Rotaract community. We learn a lot from the Rotaractors, and it's interesting to see how people are using social media and public image and using that for your own personal use. So other clubs, other districts, other organizations. I mentioned the organization that Scott Harrison is CEO of, Clean Water. We learn from other nonprofits. Look at what they're doing. You know, we all, a couple of years ago when they were doing the Ice Bucket Challenge for ALS, we saw that as maybe there's a way to do something viral to promote Rotary. So we can always be looking at other organizations and how they're using public image and creating awareness for their organizations and raising money for their foundations. So always be looking at other organizations and other companies. A lot of the innovative companies, we mentioned Apple and Virgin early on in this presentation. Look to see what they're doing, what Nike is doing. And then viral content and memes. I know that not all clubs may be the appropriate target for viral content or memes, but some clubs are a little bit more informal, a little bit more laid back, and it's fun to use, you know, funny imagery and stuff when you're doing public image. But always make sure it's appropriate for your club and your organization. So again, you know, we want to join leaders, exchange ideas, and take action. That's what we're doing as people of action. So we want to involve others. We want to create our plans, create our content plan, create our editorial calendar, create our public image plan for the year. And then we want to be consistent. Every month, we want to make sure, every month, every week, we want to make sure that we're telling the Rotary story. So right now, this is our team. I'm the coordinator, and then with me, I have William Ennis out of District 7020 in the Cayman Islands. Kim Walden is out of Rotary District 6900 in Thomasville, Georgia. And then Kirk Driscoll is out of Rotary District 6900 in Atlanta, Georgia. So Kirk is going to be joining our club, our committee. He's a current governor. He's going to be past district governor next year. And we have Kelsey Mitchell rolling off of our team next year. So we'll be missing Kelsey. And so that's our team. At this time, I'm going to hand it off to William. William, I preloaded some slides. It looks like some of the slides that you might have loaded didn't make it into this deck. So this is William Ennis, everyone, is the most diplomatic person that I know that can tell you that you're using the wrong Rotary logo and make you feel good about it. I mean, he will make sure that you understand and it does not hurt your feelings, and he is so good at this. And so that's why we always let him do the praying part of it. But William, I'm going to hand it off to you, and I'm going to jump right into this slide with our old and our new and why it's so important to use the new master brand. So with that, Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator, William Ennis, everyone.
Thank you very much, RPIC Marshall, and it's a pleasure to be here in District 7030. So this is gonna be fun. Usually I'm more
like a pop quiz
than just random slides. So I'll try and
well, William, real quick, William, do you have the deck on your computer?
I do, and I'm looking at that on my notes.
Well, do you want to share your screen?
That would be more difficult. I don't have my camera. That's fine right now.
Okay. Well, it'll be a pop quiz. You're going to do great.
That's fine. Well, the purpose of this slide is to encourage members to identify the difference between what is the old and the new mark of excellence, which is also known as the Rotary wheel. The old logo said Rotary International inside of the wheel, but feedback suggests it was too difficult to read and we weren't getting the recognition that we should for our projects. So it was suggested that we would switch to the new logo, and we would encourage you to do that if you haven't already. If you want to move to the next slide. And yes, and these are some examples of poor Rotary wheel usage. Of course, the mark of excellence does not change color to cranberry, which is the approved color for Rotaract. So that is not an appropriate use. We want to make sure we have just the wheel large and nothing cluttered or close around it. And for example, the right with the candle, where you have the Rotary wheel used multiple times, that is a big no. We want to have consistency with how we look, and this, although it is creative and cute, it's not something you want to do with our branding. You don't tend to see Coca-Cola doing things with their brand, or Apple. That's cute and funny. Typically, it's pretty consistent across the years. So we want to have that similarly done as well. Yes, of course. So do not distort the image or cover it with anything. You can see, for example, the 100 stuck inside the 0. That's a very common thing we see in the districts and clubs. It's I guess they're trying to use the space better, but it's something you do not want to do. Again, the Rotary wheel needs to be flat on the page, not distorted or changed in the angle, which you see here with the humanity gift. It's like they're throwing it in the distance. It's again not what you need to use the mark of excellence for. And these are just more examples of cute and fun things that people tend to do, but we do not want you to recolor the logo or change the fonts in any way. Yeah, Christmas time is I think typically the worst. Yeah.
I don't know. We had that one with the turkey. Thanksgiving, where the turkey, the feathers of the turkey is the Rotary wheel.
Now, the one to the bottom left with the bunny ears, they kind of got part of it right here. Obviously, the bunny ears is too close. You can't really do that with the logo, but they did include the Rotary master brand in the bottom right. I think you can kind of see that. So whenever the mark of excellence is used, we would suggest that you use also the master brand close by it to help identify and let people realize that it is Rotary. All right, so this, I think, are the slides to help you learn on the brand center, where to go to create your own brand, your own club logo. It could be your district logo or your zone logo. You don't need to get them from anybody else. You can create them yourself in the various formats that are available to you. So we'll see some of those now.
Actually, that is the last slide.
That is the last slide. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get the other
Fair
slide
enough.
in.
Well,
yeah.
That's where you would go to update your logos. Of course, the People of Action campaign that PDG Marshall, Arpit Marshall mentioned earlier, you can also get materials for that to use in your images for social media and any print materials. But of course, the Rotary Bible or the branding Bible is this guidelines, Tell Rotary's Voice and Visual Identity Guidelines. Now, if you have not seen this document, it is vitally important that you have a copy of it. So I'd recommend you go to the Brand Center on Rotary.org to get it. Alternatively, I think it's the link was just provided there now in the chat, but keep a copy of that. The reason why you want that is it provides a lot of detailed information, like the correct fonts you're supposed to use, the correct colors. There's a whole color palette that we should utilize in any of the images that we're using or any of the content we create. You have, so they're prescribed using PMS or RGB color codes. So it can get quite technical. And why do you want to have this technical information available to you? One, I guess it's good reading for if you have nothing to do. Beyond that, if you're going to be engaging the services of a marketing company to help you with anything, whether it be creating t-shirts or doing anything on a website for you, if you're getting that redone, you want to give them this document, because then it will help them to be compliant with what we're doing in Rotary globally. It helps make that consistency of the brand. So I strongly recommend you get a copy of that voice and visual identity guideline. Make sure that's available to your secretary and any of the public image directors or chairpersons in those clubs.
Yeah, I just put in the chat, the easiest way to find that brand guide PDF is to go to Google and Google Telling Rotary Story. The first result is going to be that PDF. And they changed the algorithm on me for about a month and it didn't work, but they fixed it again. And so it does work. If you Google Telling Rotary Story, you'll get that PDF as your first result. And it's pretty easy to download instead of trying to find it on the website.
I am dubious of recommending Google use when it comes to the logo section, though.
Yes.
Do not try to Google what the Rotary logo should be. You'll get all the wrong results and you can use something that's not compliant. So get that from the brand setter for sure. And it's so much easier to use.
That is a joke we always make, is do not use Google to do an image search for the Rotary logo, because we have seen, it was funny when I was watching the video that you guys ran, I saw the Rotary logo from 1924. And I remember we used that on one of our decks to see if anybody would notice that we used the wrong logo. And they did. So definitely always go to the brand center to find your Rotary logos. Well, thank you, William.
Yeah, that's it for now.
Yeah. So again, you know, just wanted to do a quick overview of the appropriate usage of the brand, the logo, telling the story, putting together your public image team. Our team, the Zone 34 Public Image Coordinator team, is here to help any way that we can. We work closely with Sean Patty, and Sean is a great advocate and introduces us to many folks in 7030 to share the resources that we have. And so we appreciate Sean. But we are always here to support and answer questions. And like I said, that webinar series, and to speak to clubs, and just to provide any kind of resources that we can. I'll put our slide back up one more time with our team information. And I will also actually, let's see, www.rotary share. Well, this is actually going to give you the old one, which will be good for another 3 months. But you can use that link to download the current version of that flyer. And if you need any help or anything that we can do, actually, I'll make it a hyperlink. Let me change that. There we go. We're here to assist and support any way that we can. So with that, are there any questions? I believe Lisa, I think, was we're going to help us with Q&A.
Liz.
Oh, Liz. I'm sorry, Liz. Yes, thank you.
That's okay. Let me check. I don't think there are any questions. Your presentation must be lucidly clear. There's no questions, but I had a query, and I don't know if you can answer it. But you know, every time I go to Rotary International conventions, you often see these license dealers trying to subtly sell some of the items that have the old logo. And I often would tell them, why are you selling that? Because that logo doesn't exist anymore. And of course they would look at me and smile and probably get sale from somebody else. But is there any way that Rotary can, perhaps let them know that they really shouldn't be selling those things? And they have a lot of stuff that they sell. They sell it at phenomenally low prices. And I guess people are attracted to that. And only when they get home, they would probably see that, oh, wait a minute, that's not the right logo.
That's a really good question, Liz. And I'm not quite sure what the licensing guidelines are. I know they did tell clubs and members that if you had stationery or any supplies, they didn't want it to become a burden on the clubs to have to go out and replace everything immediately. So I know they said that you could use up what you have existing supplies before you had to make the switch over. But for a licensed vendor, I've got to believe that is against their contract, and probably something that they need to be Rotary International licensing needs to be aware of, because That's right. As soon as we can switch over to the new logo and make sure it's consistent, that's the key, is consistency. We want folks to know that when that they see that same emblem, no matter where they are on Earth, that it's that consistent emblem, and we just don't want to create confusion. And the sooner that we can transition, the better.
That sounds like another project for Rotary Public Image Police to maybe help with the enforcement of the licensing that we've agreed. But great point. Thank you.
That's right. That's a good point.
All right. Thank you. I think that's all for now, and I'll hand back to PAG Luana.
Thank you, VP Liz.
All right, there are two questions that just came up in the chat, actually. Liz.
Two questions, yes, all right. Okay, from Kenneth, should there not be a deadline where the old logo is banned from distribution?
Again, I thought that there was a ban for production of the old logo. And as I mentioned, they told clubs that they could exhaust their supplies of those materials. In terms of a complete ban on the old logo, I don't think we'll ever see that. I mean, I know my club, we have a president's pin that is 56 years old, and it gets passed from president to president, and you don't dare lose that pin. And so, we would never want to lose those traditions of some of those. And I know there's a lot of Rotarians that have the pins that since they've been in Rotary. So I think we need to honor the traditions of the past, but look forward to the future. So I don't know if we'll ever completely erase that old logo, but nor do I think we should. But I think everything going forward should use the new branding, of course.
Okay, there's a question from PP Lisa. What is the possibility of more material, images, etc., with more of a Caribbean feel available on the brand center? I don't know if you're responsible for that.
There was a lot of content on the brand center, but due to international licensing and permission of all the persons in the picture, they had to take down a lot of that until they had expressed permission to use those images. So I think the answer to that ultimately would come down to getting photographers in the Caribbean taking pictures that are worthy of use on the brand center, making sure that we have the licensing and the agreements in place with the persons in the picture, because that's what's required.
That's a great point, William. And again, remember, we are a bottom-up organization, and if there are some excellent photographers in District 7030 that can help us out here, we can certainly and get appropriate permission. That would be a really nice addition to the brand center to get those images added. So again, we are all responsible for public image, and we can all contribute to that.
Yes, the release forms are on the brand center as well.
That's a good point. And that, again, another good point that brings up is expressly asking for permission. And it might be a part of onboarding now for new members to say you may have your photo taken at a club event or at a fundraiser or a service project. If we are at service projects and we take pictures, we need to make sure that we're asking for permission to use those in some of our campaigns. The other is the use of copyrighted materials. As you are doing your public image campaigns, please be mindful of the copyrights of any of the assets that you might use to create those creative pieces. Again, be careful using Google image search because you might be using an image that's copyrighted. And we have started hearing stories of lawyers that are representing maybe Shutterstock or some of the stock photography companies and seeing their images used without permission. And so we want to make sure that Rotary always does the correct thing and uses royalty-free or maybe Canva. We always talk about Canva. Canva has a large stock of copyright-free images that we can use, but be mindful of the copyright for anything that you use in your public image campaigns.
All right, their questions are coming up now, so it's getting warm,
right.
I guess. George is asking, do you influence templates for social media, for example, the web and brochures, etc.?
Our team does not directly influence the templates. There is I have a liaison in Evanston who I coordinate with the activities in our zone. If there's anything that you guys would be interested in, I can always certainly provide that feedback. They're constantly asking us things that we need in the field. So if you have ideas or suggestions, you can always pass those on to me and I'll make sure they get to the appropriate person.
Right. There's a question from Marlon from one of the French clubs. Do Mimi's erode Rotary's branding?
That's exactly why I kind of hedged when I suggested that. Depending on the club and whether it's a very formal club or maybe it's a more informal club. I think memes there's a certain time and a place to use memes, and they can certainly break through the clutter a lot of times, and that's what we're trying to do is drawing attention to what Rotary does. So I guess I would say it depends on your specific Rotary club.
Okay. Tarek is asking a question, but I see William responding to that, whether there was any training available. And yes, there are boot camps. George is asking another question. How do you spell that website for images?
William put it in there. It's canva.com.
Oh, okay.
HTTPS Canva. Yeah, we do a lot in Canva. We find it's a really good resource. And I see another question about copyright-free music.
Yeah.
Canva also has copyright-free music. So if you wanted to create a video or put some music behind a slide, you can do a search. And you can always search in Google for copyright-free music, royalty-free music. The same thing for photos and images. Our team, we have a subscription to a service where it gives us access to some music and to some images. We do that to supplement some of the other things that we do. And it's nominal. I think, maybe $10 a month or something to get access to images.
There's a question here from PP Lisa. She's asking if you can reconfirm there's no official graphic for the new area focus, the environment, because there are lots of images floating around.
That's right. Yeah, I have not seen that yet, an official image. I know that a lot of folks are asking for that. And I'm hopeful that by the beginning of the new Rotary year on July 1st, we'll have an updated, we'll have the official graphic for supporting the environment. I think that's very important, and I hope they get it to us because I know there's a lot of energy and excitement around promoting that area of focus for our foundation.
All right. Thank you. I think that's all. No more questions are being slipped in. So thank you, both of you. Over to PAG.
It was our pleasure. Thank you for having us. Thank you again, District Governor-elect Sonia and past area Governor Luana and past District Governor David. Good to see you again, as always. And just a treat to be with you all today. Thank you for this invitation.
Thank you, PP Chara. You're up.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, all protocols observed. I have the pleasure of giving the vote of thanks on behalf of DGE Sonia, PAG Luana, and the district training team. PDG Marshall and Rotarian William, I'm sorry if I didn't get your title correctly. It was really a pleasure listening to your presentations this evening. You shared with us a wealth of information that is very important to all Rotary clubs on enhancing our public image and awareness. I think it is something that not many of us have had a handle on, a proper handle on, and I'm certain that the information that you've shared with us this evening will assist us on better managing our public image and awareness in the upcoming Rotary year. So thank you once again for sharing with us. Your presentation was very detailed. You shared with us so many resources. I mean, it's really impressive, the wealth of information you have on it. And we truly appreciate what you've shared with us this evening. It was our pleasure to have you on our presentation this evening. I will also like to thank all the Rotarians who have taken the time to be with us this evening, to share in this wealth of information and to take it back to your clubs so that we can have a better Rotary year, upcoming Rotary year. Additionally, I'd like to thank all the facilitators behind the scene, the technical staff, the translators, who assisted in ensuring that we had a glitch-less presentation this evening. So thank you once again, everyone, and have a great evening. All the best.
Thank you, PT Cheryl. Just some quick housekeeping. The survey questionnaire will be emailed immediately following the close of session. Please complete and submit as early as possible. And please also note that phase 1 of the pre-PETS is still open, which is the completion of the courses on the Learning Center. So we encourage you to please carry on with that. There's so much material there to learn. Kindly remember to submit the names of your club trainers. We will be starting training of trainers shortly, and clubs that do not submit their names will miss out on this opportunity to have a fully trained club trainer within their ranks. I will now ask District Conference Chair Conrad to say a few words on the upcoming PETS and District Conference. One second. Go ahead. Conrad, we're not hearing you.
Still not hearing you, Conrad. Nope.
Okay, Conrad, you'd want to probably check to ensure that your correct microphone is selected. Go to the bottom left under the microphone, click that little caret, that little arrow pointing upwards, and select your correct mic.
Says he's blocked. I don't know what that means.
He should have been made a co-host, wasn't he? Then he could unblock himself.
Well, I was trying to unblock him, but I can't. Oh no, he's being made a co-host, so he would probably get in now.
So while we wait for Conrad to come back on, fellow Rotarians, I ask you to keep our Rotarian brothers and sisters in St. Vincent in your thoughts and prayers. This Soufrière volcano seems to be erupting imminently. The Prime Minister has given evacuation orders for people living in that area. It is grave, but rest assured that DGNN Brian and his team are on the ground there. The Rotary Disaster Response Team is already engaged in discussions with the emergency management services there. So we just need to keep praying for them, keep them in their thoughts. If they need assistance, we need to be able to come to their assistance as soon as they are indicate that they need it. So as you know, these eruptions it could take days, or it could take hours. So it is pretty serious. So I'm hoping that Conrad comes back on, but I just, yeah, so today has been a rough day for everybody. Both Henri and Hervé were interred today. So it's been a serious day for us. We just are happy to be here with everyone this evening. You know, just being a part of this pre-PETS, and the team is extremely grateful for you to participate as you have over the last couple of weeks. and look forward to many more interactions with each and every one of you as we go forward on this journey for Rotary year 21 to 22. Conrad, are you back? So I'm going to take the liberty then. So since I can bring some updates. Coming out shortly are the links to the PETS session, which starts next Friday evening from 6. We have a speaker on that evening, and then we have.
I think it works now, right?
Okay, I'll let him tell you.
I'm leaving the other meeting for somehow it says the host is not allowing me to unmute. So I'm going to use my phone. Hopefully that works now, right?
Yeah, we hear you.
I can't see you right now, but at least you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Good evening, everybody, senior Rotarians in the district, friends. You know, this is my last chance to talk to you about district conference. So I better make it count, right? If you have not done so, please note in your calendar, April 16 to 24 belongs to Rotary. It shouldn't be very difficult. We're talking 6 evenings, 2 mornings. So please take your phone now, make sure it's blocked, something is in there. So it doesn't have to be second choice to attend PETS and conference. I know DG Sonia is starting out with a bang on the 16th. We'll have a really exciting motivational speaker, Raphael Sol, who will open PETS for us on the evening. On the 7th,
You have muted yourself, Conrad.
yeah, God, man, Christ, love technology. Okay, I'm not sure where you heard me and where not.
You were on April 16th, so head to April 17th.
Anyway, on Saturday 17th, I would encourage you to please set your alarm early and make your way to your club's conference venue, because at 8 a.m., Rotary International President-elect Jack Kameta will address us. And believe it or not, he'll take live questions. That is something that you don't even have a chance to do at the RI convention. So folks, there's absolutely no way that any Rotarian in the district should miss the morning with President Shekhar. Then the day will continue with presentations from our district leadership team. Many of them, of course, are by now familiar to all of us, with the cooperation of some RI leaders like past I Director John Smarch will come and make a presentation, and a few others. Then the following 4 days, we have 4 really interesting evening presentations on for you. For example, on the first evening on Monday, we'll be showcasing Rotary District 7030's Elevate Rotaract. And I don't know how to say this, but so much has changed between Rotaract and Rotary, and I fear that there are still Rotarians that are not familiar with it. I don't want to say they're not embracing it, but some people are just not aware of what has changed and how much Rotaract is now an integrated part of Rotary. And this is a chance to hear it from the Rotaractors, ask questions, one dedicated evening. Please, I want to see you there. Another evening, we service in Rotary. And then, of course, on Wednesday evening, we have a piece in Rotary and a Rotary membership, a calling to service presentation. And on Thursday evening, on Earth Day, April 22nd, we'll have a presentation on sustainability projects at our doorsteps. We continue then on Friday, the 23rd, where the conference starts officially in the evening with the traditional flag ceremony, a message from RI President Holger Knack, followed by a keynote address from past Rotary International President Barry Razin. That's on Friday evening. It will end as usual with a little fellowship, similar to the President's Lounge that many of you know already, hosted by past President Lathan Khan. Saturday morning then brings really interesting presentations by our RI Director Peter Kyle, Michael Terrelong from Jamaica, RI Director Mike McGovern, and RI President Rep DG Steve Schlüter is covering topics like, they're all covering topics like Rotary and the United Nations, you know, our 76 years relationship with the UN, the environment in times of a pandemic, polar challenges in areas of family conflict, of military conflict and beyond, and also the presentation on our foundation and grants in the times of diminishing funding or not. Maybe funding is not diminishing. And then before lunch, we have the second keynote speaker, Brenda Cressy, will take to the podium presenting on Rotary at its best. So please don't miss it. The lunch presentation or the pre-lunch presentation of the second keynote speaker. In between, we have some cultural performances, including a surprise from the Interact clubs in St. Lucia. And before we get down to some Rotary District business in the afternoon to look forward to Conference 2020 in Barbados. And then, of course, we will end it again with fellowship. So here it is. Since we cannot be all together in St. Lucia for the conference and for pets, please help us all celebrate Rotary with your friends, your Rotary friends and other friends. If your club is arranging a pets and conference meeting place, encourage Rotarians to meet you there. If it's not catered, bring a bottle or your favorite vice, whatever it is you enjoy. If that is not practical or not possible or not legal, maybe you can meet up with some Rotarians and other friends and attend together. You can rotate homes or offices in the original founding Rotary spirit of rotating the venue. Just think back of Paul Harris, how he moved his first meetings from office to office. And you can do so without food or drink. But Sonia, Lyle, and I suggest it's better with a drink or two. So arrange for something there to make the whole thing fun. And remember to please download the app so you can send us pictures of how you and your fellow Rotarians and friends participate in Conference 2021. If you don't have downloaded the app by now, then I don't know what to say. Please don't let tomorrow's sunrise without you having the app on your phone. And whatever you do, don't let Conference 2021 pass you by and take place without you. DG Sonia and DG Lila looking forward to seeing you there. So let's experience how Rotary has opened opportunities in 2021, and let us together map out how we will serve to change lives in 21, 22. As PDG Marshall said, we're all people of action. See you there. I'm sorry I can't see you.
Thank you, Conrad. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. It's been a wonderful 8 weeks. And so good night and stay safe and see you on the 16th.